Well, let's see. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Wolfenstein. The game is causing so many comments from the left about the right. Yeah. Here's my take on it. It's not the way that the game is put out. It's not that. You know what is, it's not the game itself that puts me off of the game. It's the commercialization of the game. It's the social justice warrior commercials that I've seen on it. If you've got a good video game like Wolfenstein, and Bethesda's got that, and Bethesda knows that, okay, then why SJW it up? Okay. Now, there are certain aspects of the game that I want to see, that I want to play. I want to see if they get specific locations, because I used to live there. In fact, I was baptized in the Mesquite, Texas Church of Christ. If you punch up Mesquite Church of Christ, you'll find out that it used to be called the College and Locust Church of Christ. I was born in that church. Okay. So, just to say, all right, I want to see Lake Forney, because I already know that that's Lake Ray Hubbard east of Dallas. Okay. Now, this is the last scene, and this is about as cringeworthy as sitting in an Assembly of God church on Sunday morning with a Benny Hinn type giving the Sunday morning sermon. And if you haven't played the game, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. They win. The resistance wins. But here you go.
Oh, Lord, look at you. There's stuff in your face, full of bright words as you're sitting in front of your Nazi television boxes. Just laughing all the lies they've been feeding you. Laughing till you're choking. Well, it ends tonight.
Oh, yeah, it ends tonight. My brothers and sisters of the United States of America, tonight, we the free people of the resistance.
Now, this is where it goes full social justice warrior.
Ask you to become one of us.
There's a lie. There's a lie. There's a threatening. There's a torturing. There's a killing. They beat you into submission.
They beat you.
They made your very thoughts a crime.
Okay, now think about this. Okay, if your very thought's a crime, doesn't it sound like the left instead of the right? They just there's the question there.
But if tonight you gather, speak freely from your heart.
Yes.
But see, that's the problem, is the SJWs don't want us speaking freely from the heart. Because when we speak freely from the heart, it goes against everything that they stand for. It goes against everything communist or socialized.
He's one of us.
Right on. And if tonight we see you on the streets with a knife or a brick, or just your clenched fist fighting the powers that be, then you are.
I mean, does he not look like somebody sitting in a church just raising their hand? Does that not look like something out of a 1990s? I mean, this is almost snake handler type stuff.
Are one of us.
And if tonight you look down upon your hands and they soaked in the blood of our oppressors, then you, he's one of us.
If tonight you hold your babies in your arms and swear they'll grow up to be free people, then you are one of us.
Yeah.
Did you forget? They brought this war to our shores.
Yes, sister.
And then they beat us. They murdered us. They executed us. But guess what? Tonight, they also find out that they fucked with the wrong country. My brothers and sisters of the United States of America. When we stand together, ain't nothing and no one can take our country from us. Tonight, they burn. Tonight, you are one of us. We're not gonna take it!
I mean, okay, now... Obviously, whoever put this together, whoever put this game together and studied the geographic locations and everything, I give them kudos, because they know about Dallas, they know about Mesquite. Okay, and if you're not generally from that area, you don't really know about Mesquite that much. It's not anything that really comes up unless you specifically search for it, or you just look at a Dallas map, and it's like the 5th largest suburb of Dallas. It's the 2nd largest on the east side. Garland, if you know anything about Garland, you know about King of the Hill, Arland, and that's where Mike Judge is originally from, is from Garland, Texas. I know that much. But yeah, you don't generally call Lake Ray Hubbard Lake Forney unless you're looking to change just a few minor little details and give it a little bit of a twist. But yeah, Lake Forney would be construed as Lake Ray Hubbard, or Ray Hubbard Reservoir. It's basically what the signs say when you cross over the bridge. There's a Bass Pro Shops on it, so I know exactly where it's at. You know, like I said, having lived in Mesquite for 18 years, or 16 to 18 years of my life, you know, up till I was like 13, and then I moved back after I got married, and my wife and I lived there for 5 years. 5 or 6 years, pretty close to 6. Before we moved up here to Missouri. But it's really an interesting thing that, you know, and you got to forgive me, I've got the door open. My kids are running around right now. I'm fixing to scream at my oldest to get out. But yeah, you know, there's some details in the game I want to play, but the very end makes me feel like I'm sitting in a full gospel church somewhere with Benny Hinn preaching to me. You know, I'm not upset about the game itself. I'm not even upset about the ending. It does make me cringe. The ending does. This last scene that I just played for you. But the commercials are what I'm really upset about, because they've taken on this social justice warrior connotation when we're living in an age of thought policing, where thought policing is the big deal. And you know, the left is all like, you know, hey, the right's all of blame about this. It's a good thing, you know. Well, here's my thing, is that, you know, when the game fights against thought policing, as the character at the very end, the African American character at the end said, when they control your very thought, okay, when they police your very thought. And that's what these SJWs want to do, is police your very thought. So the gaming community can take this one of 2 ways, and actually one of 3 ways. Okay. Now, my maternal grandfather fought in Europe during World War II. I would not denigrate his service to a failure in World War II. Partially, that's what this game says, is that either America didn't participate in the war in Europe, okay, which, if anybody understands their history, the U.S. didn't declare war on Germany. That is true. Germany declared war on us, and we just retroactively acted upon that declaration. But really, I mean, the cringe at the end of this game is so severe because it tries to pass on a social justice warrior message. It tries to play Christians in such an evil light, and that's not us. Hey, and it does if you check out the scene where Blaskovich is talking to his father, then you kind of get the detail of that. Okay? But we don't find out much about Blazkowicz apparently through the game until he's in the room with Hitler. And that's another, cringeable moment that I'm just not going to share with you. You have to play the game. I'll tell you, go buy the game and go play it. Because I intend on buying the game. And I do intend on playing it. If nothing else than just for myself. But the sad thing is that we're on both sides of this issue, and really we don't need to be on both sides of this issue. We just need to be on one side of it, which is, why is commercialization becoming political? Why is political issue becoming commercialized? Okay. And nobody's asking that question on the right or the left. It takes a skeptic like myself, a centrist skeptic at that, to say, look, okay, you guys on the left are upset about, free markets and everything else. And the guys on the right are sitting there saying, well, why is this becoming politicized? Why are corporations politicizing the game? Nobody's asking those questions, and they need to be asked. As for myself, I'm going back to 7290, and I'll go catch up with some friends there. But just think about it. Just seriously think. Not all white Christians are evil. 99.9% of us are good guys. There's 0.1% that actually believe in a neo-Nazi idealism, and I just, that's not me. Okay. You want to see where my ideas begin and end? Go to Washington D.C. They got my ideas on paper, signed over 200 years ago, that lay out a Bill of Rights, that lay out the rest of the laws of the land. The Declaration of Independence is not a declaration of war. The Declaration of Independence is just that. It declares our independence from tyranny. It was not meant to start a war. In case some of you Jeff Daniels fans know what I'm talking about, and find it up. You can find it on YouTube here, because that's where I found it. And the Constitution wasn't written in stone, and that's the one good thing Joe Pesci said in a Brendan Fraser movie, Head of the Class or something like that. I forgot the name of the movie, but it was a really good movie. But Joe Pesci's character was a bum. Right. I strongly suggest you look up Joe Pesci on the Constitution here on YouTube. You'll find it. My ideas begin with my freedom, and they end with my freedom. My freedom doesn't adversely affect your freedom. Your freedom doesn't adversely affect my freedom. And that's the way we all should be. Unfortunately, we've lost that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a repentant conservative. I greatly appreciate you watching. Y'all have a good evening.